G'day and welcome to another edition of Kev's Workshop. This is my 7¼ inch railway, or the back end of it. As you see, I've got a microphone piece now, so I can now be away from my camera and talk to you all. I'm about to show you my miniature railway from day and a bit later on by night, so you can see what it looks like with all the Christmas lights on. If I just lean forward, down in here, got a couple of battery boxes for Christmas lighting. So if I reach down, there's the other one. 2 sets of battery lights, these for Christmas, doing the December train rides at night time from about 7:30 at night through to about 10 o'clock. So the one 3-metre carriage behind me, we're going to have about 8-9 passengers on board, or a whole stack of little kids, who cares. But you know, I've had 3 very large people on this carriage, and as you see, I'm a little bit puffed, but otherwise it's great fun. Well, I'm going to disappear into reverse and I'll catch you as I go back through that train tunnel behind me. I'll show you a shot in a moment. Okay, here we go. I'm just temporarily parked in the tunnel. Now I'll just give you a bit of a briefing at the moment. Well, I've got the camera in handhold mode. This is the back end, that pair of candy canes that we've got. Might be a bit hard to see the glare, but this really comes to life more so in the dark, especially with your hand out of the way. So yeah, solar panels, so we do have some solar sets and battery sets mixed in with powered sets of lights. Reindeers are solar powered sets. Stars, or starlights against the fence line, they're also solar powered sets. What I want to focus in on it just in this moment. Now, Bumblebee Mark 1, I designed and built that from 1997 to 2000, and over the years I've just done little tweaks here and there to make it a bit better. It's a 10-speed bike mechanism essentially, hooked up to my own forward and reverse gearbox. So before we go for a ride from one end to the other, I want to give you a bit of a quick squeezy on this. Some people say a quick gander, but yeah, these pedal extensions are made up so your heels don't get caught on these bolts. There's one on either side, one there, this one here, whoops, there it is. But as we see here, if we look underneath all of this, I'll just let's get this happening. The only problem is when people play with the pedals and chains derail, that you can see down here on the lower derailleur, this is actually giving me a lot more strain, because half the problem is people get on and start pedaling backwards, it gets basically jammed in here. So I'll come back to that in a moment. Just get this camera sorted here. So you can see the lower 5 gears, or the back end 5 gears. So that's the rear derailleur. The front derailleur is what you can see here. So in brief, I know it's a slight digression. As we look at this, it's a 10-speed bike mechanism, as I say. So it's in high gear now. Low gear is in behind it. So you might be able to see that lower gear. That's operated off this left-hand side twist grip. The right-hand twist grip comes down to this derailleur down the back, which is currently a little bit tight, causing a bit of extra strain. But you can see the other 5 gears in behind the cover. and I will get onto that gearbox for you. But so you can understand how the gearbox is interrelated, that's the final drive to the rear wheels. So the forward reverse gearbox changes obviously the direction through a simple tumbler mechanism. Now the tumbler mechanism is based on what you find on a metalwork lathe and some of the old Meccano stuff. But this gear here is, I think, third gear for memory out of a Yamaha motorcycle gearbox. In behind here there's another two of the same sort of gears. Oh, sorry, bit of a rough throat. Now this lever here and pin, that's the lever that changes between forward and reverse gear by lifting the gear up or down. This gear here, as you see, has the one-way clutch built in on the bicycle gear. I'll just swing this around this point of view. So the one-way clutch will allow me to freewheel on a downhill run, and yet on an uphill run it allows me to pedal that a little bit harder. This top gear goes through to that bottom gear, which gives me forward, so it's forward, turning backwards, turning forwards. So when you're driving all three gears, forward and forward. When you come into reverse, I'll see if I can do this for you. And hopefully, I'm finding it difficult to see in my camera at the moment. Hopefully you saw that operation. I'm just looking through the side of the viewfinder. But basically now, in reverse, this drive gear is driving the bottom gear, which is now opposite directions, giving me reverse. Hope you can see the locating holes to locate the gearbox. And the micro switch operates my tail lights and headlights. So this one here, when I'm in forward, I've got tail lights on. Just above in here, I've got the top micro switch, which gives me the rear end headlights. So at night time, you see the two white lights, you know I'm on my return journey. And you see the two red tail lights, as I'm now in forward gear, down here, operating that micro switch. It's as simple as it gets. I do have a video up here on YouTube saying simple wiring for miniature railways, and this was featured several years ago on that. Two penlight batteries, push on push off type switch. Oh, sorry, I've got a rough throat today. But simple wiring going out to the switches, coming back in the box and going out to the tail light headlights at the tail end. So let me just bear with you. Yeah, I'll show you in a moment. I'll just get you to bear with me a moment. From this other angle, see the cabling going out, well, it's in the conduit of course. I've yet to still put a proper plug on the end here, but my wiring just runs up through ordinary Telstra style telecom cable. There's 4 cord in that, and if I swing through, you see underneath the seating, I've got Christmas lighting. I keep having this up on hooks and they keep dropping off, but never mind. As we come on down, I've got a terminal block. Out of the 4 wires, I've got 2 of them paired together. So essentially I've got 3 wires, and they go out to the left and right tail lights and headlights. So which you can sort of see there. Now if I come to the back end of my carriage, there's one of my tail lights. I know the top one's pushed in at the moment, and there's the other head and tail light. So from the back of the train, if you see the 2 red lights, you can see I'm in forward mode. If you see the 2 white lights, I'm in tail end mode, or coming backwards. It's a 3 metre long carriage, as I say, and for a 3 metre carriage it's only 500mm or half a metre wide. And it's not bad. It's only a play toy, exercise machine, and yeah, I've had this, as I say, since, well, that Bumblebee Mark 1 has been completed since 2000. But yeah, certainly my recent addition in October 2021 is the finally getting the foam and vinyl for this seat. So yeah, today's been, the day's recording is the 2nd of December 2021. So yeah, at least for that you can sort of get an idea that we are all geared up for Christmas. And this sign here does light up. It's a bit hard to see in this light, but simple little battery box unit. Batteries go in that panel. Switch on the end of it, and yeah, you can see that lit up in the dark quite nicely, but in the daytime it's difficult to see. But yeah, that's what we do, and we've been doing the Christmas lighting since early 1990s, but only since 2017 have I had my railway completed enough that people can come down and have a ride. So I'm going to do a quick view inside the tunnel momentarily. So we're at the tail end of my tunnel looking towards our front yard, which is, as you can see, up the side here where I've just rode through. And yeah, 3 sets of Christmas lights up here at the top, and along the bottom I've got an LED set which is solar powered, and down the opposite side I've also got another solar powered set of lights which you might see a bit later on. Now, a cousin of mine, his daughter did me up these drop bear signs, so I've printed them up, and yes, we do have 2 drop bears which you will see later on. And these here are just battery operated LED lights, simple rocker ones. I've got 2 at each end of my tunnel, so at night when the lights go out we don't get plunged into total darkness. But to give you an idea, it's 2 magnets, that's all they are. $4 from Red Dot here in Australia, Western Australia. Again, there we go. I'll probably do a proper bracket for that to sit on later. It's not essential just yet. But yeah, this will give you some idea. This is our side fence. So they're the solar powered starlights. And our miniature village that we've got in. It's not much, I know. But when you try to do everything on a budget, a very tight budget at that, it's one of those things where, if you're given things, you take them. You go, yeah, no worries. The reindeers, we got them from Bunnings here in Perth, Western Australia. Solar powered sets. And all my railway signage that I've been given. I've got a friend of mine that works for the government railways, and he's in an area where all this stuff gets sent back to the depot. So he scored me a few, so it's all been given to me with permission from his bosses. So yeah, I'll come up around here, probably get a better view of all this. So yeah, it's all legal, nothing stolen, I can guarantee you that. And even that was ex-public transport, so full size railway crossing sign. So at this point, there's my shed, or one of my sheds. That's where my train crossing's still to be completed. The multi-gauge rail through here, a 5-inch, 3.5 inch, and also includes the G-scale as well. So with this railway crossing in mind, you'll see my crossing that I'm building. Started in 2017, never got much back to it, but that's the post for it. And sitting on top of that is one of our drop bears. So all this has to be painted up yet. Got to have the 2 lights put in up here and the actual gate. But what you will see is a drop bear. Yes, cute and cuddly, yet vicious at night. Alright, and up here is our other drop bear. Now for those of you around the world watching my videos, this is one of those Australian standard jokes that's been around since the early 70s. So you'll understand the joke eventually. At my station, a Christmas tree that was given to us that has blue and white LEDs in it, powered set, a multicoloured LED Santa which comes on. You see the solar panel there to the bottom right. I've got my railway signal which is using battery power. There should be a video somewhere on YouTube about that as well. And there's a solar powered station light. With my railway signals, these ones are what I have made, and basically underneath it, behind this fascia panel, is a switch, and on the side is a rotary switch which I can change the colours just by rotating the lever. So, simple rotary switch to a battery box, and just to override that, an on-off switch. So, my 7¼ inch railway signal is the signal home number 2. So, or I should say home signal, but signal number 1 goes out my front yard. I use these as a marker so I know where to pull up. So it's alignment post as well as a signal. Now from this end of my railway, yeah, I know all the weeds and crap, but when you're working long hours at times and then not working for other times and then 6 months worth of rain, it does become frustrating to get rid of the weeds and keep them away. From the buffer stop, which you might be able to see just there, this is the end of 47 metres worth of track. I'm not using this part of it obviously, so where I've cleared to is roughly around 7 metres worth that you can see in this shot. So from here, if I swing back past the station, I'll come backwards into here, past my tripod and all that. From here all the way through to our mailbox, which I'll take you to in just a moment, and then all that will be 47 metres worth of track all up. So just bear with me and I'll change things again. Okay, well, here we are at the front yard. So I'm at the end of the line where it starts. This is where people will hop on and off at the beginning and end of each ride. We're about to go for a run down the side of the house, through into the backyard to the station. So hopefully you'll enjoy what you see, and then we'll come back out here and I'll walk you through the whole system. Here we go. Okay, this is the beginning end of the line, you could call it. We've got the buffer stop down here at the end, and a white section of track. Then beginning of 47 metres, goes all the way through and down the side. Now with our place, what you can't see at the moment is all the Christmas lighting. But you can see some of the decorations on the black show cloth over the window, and some of the bits hanging out in front of the other window, which, if I zoom in a bit, may or may not be clear enough for you to see. However, all that roof gets lit up, the whole front of the house gets lit up, and this tree here, fence line, and even this tree here in front of me, or in front of us. So it's nothing much to look at during the course of the day, and as we go for a bit of a wander across the front yard, following the line. For those of you rail buffs out there, 7¼ inch miniature railway, you can convert that to metric if you like. But certainly for the standard of everything, 7¼ inch is what it is commonly called. Yeah, we do have some solar powered lights here and out here. And for those who may or may not be interested, our local facility over here for power is Synergy, and we're on the Synergy Christmas Lights Trail website. Now we're raising money for Starlight Foundation. If we just come in a bit closer here, christmaslightstrail.com.au is the website you'll find us on. Not only that, you can see we're actually raising money for Starlight. I do have all the paperwork. I also have a Working with Children check card as well. So if you see any bad reports about us, you know they're all made up lies. But still, from the 1st of December, which was last night, through to New Year's Eve, which is standard for every year, we do this special nighttime running. We can only go so far with our safety mechanisms and systems and all that. So it's up to those who come for a train ride to be appropriate and enjoy the train ride so it's not messed up for everyone else. We make nothing out of it. Starlight do, but we don't. So it's a non-for-profit thing, and I do this purely for the enjoyment of the general public. I get more enjoyment out of running my train from that end of the line through down to here. And out here with the side gate open, you can see our train tunnel. And as I zoom on down, you'll get an idea. This is where we just had a train ride. So you've seen at the beginning of this video, the back end of the line. This is the beginning end of the line. So let's take a close look down inside the house. Okay, right here on the right hand side, this is just a temporary runoff line. I will eventually put a switch point across here so we can go from one track into two tracks. So that's already been planned for over the last couple of years. So I'll call this line on the left the main line, and the line on the right the workshop line. Underneath that orange tarp, if I just zoom in a bit for you, that's a front buffer beam of a steam engine. So there's the beginnings of a steam engine underneath that, which has not had work done on it for years. So yep, I will eventually get some time or money to get working on it. For those of you who have noticed, there's a third rail. It's as far as I've ever taken this, because that is the 5-inch gauge within the 7 1/4 inch. So the two outer rails are 7 1/4. The inner rail to the right hand rail is your 5-inch. And you notice a bit further down, beginnings of another rail. So all up, with my track, you can have 7 1/4 inch track on the outer two rails. On your left hand rail to your right hand rail, that's your 5-inch, and in the middle, 3 1/2 inch. So you can run 3 different miniature railway scales on this track, and on the two left hand rails, you can guess G scale is 45mm gauge. This works out about 48 to 50mm. So it's a little over G scale, but you can run G scale trains on the left hand two rails. On the right hand rails it's a bit too narrow for anything, but that'll give you an idea. So you can see the differences as I swing the camera sideways slightly. Multi-gauge track, which is the main line, and that'll be all the way end to end eventually, and 7 1/4 inch on the workshop line only. A bit later on this afternoon I'll be doing some more video right on sunset, so you can see all this come to life. All our Christmas lights are here on the green shade cloth, all the way under the eaves, all the way down in the tunnel and out the backyard. So let's go take a slightly closer look. As you can see here, it looks like a pair of saggy boots, but not meant to look like that. So it's Christmas lights on the gate. As we swing around here to the right, our Christmas angel. It's not easily seen at the moment, but it's on an aluminium frame, which was given to us. As we swing on down, we've got more lights down along this side, Plus, you may just get to see some of it up here in our eaves. And where I've got the train parked at the moment, we're just going to move on down to there. Whee! Probably gets caught in bloody things all the way through. And underneath this piece here, this carriage that I've got here on the track at the moment, underneath that black plastic is another one. However, I uncover this. And get myself out of the shot. You can see it's the beginning of my other rail car, which may hopefully get completed soon. Don't know when, but I've got a video already on YouTube of my miniature rail car down at Kuna Park. This is where it was built, and this is the second rail car, which was started over 12 months ago and never got completed. So the yellow extended coupling, that's the one that's hidden under the driver's compartment. So this is the front end of the rail car. Even after a year and a half of trying to get bogies made, the bogies still have not been completed. So as soon as I get the wheels and axles machined up, get the bogie frames completed, this will also be then able to ride on rails. And both of these carriages are 1/2 metre wide. A rail car from the floor to the top end of it is 1/2 metre, or 500mm for those who are interested. And both these carriages are 3 metres in length. However, by the time I add a 250mm driver's compartment to my rail car, I'll actually bring it to just over the 3 metre mark. Okay, we'll come on for a bit of a wander down here now. You can see my other railway signal here to the left. There's the light up train that gets lit up at night. You can see the back end here where, so we can connect onto another carriage if need be. Tail lights, headlights on the back of the carriage. As we come up here, you can then see everything else. Now this tunnel that we're looking at, and I'll just zoom in a bit for you. I know I'm talking a lot of metric and occasionally talk imperial. From the fence on the right hand side to the far left hand side of the tunnel entrance, it is 2.5 metres width. It is 2.1 metres high from the base up. And you've got a disco ball hanging up. The idea is that the Christmas lights reflect off that and gives a little extra light. So yeah, basically with that, later on, and we can come back on now, you'll be able to see how all this looks lit up. Okay, now let's go for a wander a bit more. Hopefully you didn't get too seasick then as I'm moving the camera. If we come around here, you can sort of see where the side fence meets the tunnel entrance. Now, in order to get these fake bricks, which are like a spongy foam type of stuff, and yes, I know that the tunnel entrance isn't quite exact, I'm going to the conformity of the corrugated metal that we were given. Should be done better, yes I know. But I'm not being too fussed. It's only temporary tunnel, it's nothing permanent. If I was going to do it properly, I'd do it better. As you can perhaps see the galvanised steel behind it. So $300 worth of galvanised steel that these fake bricks are stuck onto. The tunnel, as you can see internally, is painted black to give that sort of darkened effect. And you see our Christmas viewing window that we've put into it. Off to the side here, our side access gate, got Santa stuck onto that. And yeah, you can see my sense of humour. I've actually got this sent to me as part of an email, so I've printed this up. So the guy or person who created it, good on you, thank you. It says, need an arc? I know a guy. And just the way the whole pose is just awesome. Love it. Those who know me know I've got a strange sense of humour and a rude sense of humour, etc, etc. Now, hopefully I won't destroy the illusion too much of the fake bricks. But certainly, that's all it is. Steel tubing, pegboard, it's all fixed together. It's a hinge gate. So that way we can still get through. And I've got Christmas lights on there which last night decided weren't going to work, so maybe the batteries need to be replaced. Okay, as we come through the tunnel you see 7¼ inch is all that is available until I get some more money saved up and get some more steel and weld in both the 3.5 inch and 5 inch gauge rails. So as we come on through, actually while I'm at this point too, see the two night lights we've got in here. So if we get plunged into darkness for any reason, we've got emergency lighting in the tunnel. As we come on through, you might recall a bit earlier in this video the ride through. Well, at least from here we can now have a closer look at all this. Riding on the train's one thing, but actually getting down to study it is another. So yeah, with the Christmas village that we've got in and the grass that's growing back again, geez, it's like facial hair, it just keeps coming back no matter how much you get rid of it. So yeah, that's our temporary Christmas village. We can rearrange it in any way, shape or form we like. But it'll give you an idea that this is something you can see on the way through the tunnel if you come for a train ride. And yep, up the top here we've got all our Christmas lighting. We're using pull noodles to cover the sharp edges of the metal so nobody cuts themselves and we don't bang our heads climbing in and out of this area. So at least for that it gives you some idea. Yeah, we've got some Christmas lights hanging down on purpose. Part of it is the fact we get strong easterly winds keep blowing them down, so we just duff it so people can see those lights. We'll leave them hanging down. So yeah, basically with that I come up here. So this is the set of lights that are going end to end, one of 3 powered sets. These are middle powered sets and the other powered sets. We've been working on this, as I say, since April 2021. It's now December 2021, so quite a few months. And yeah, you don't often worry about that, but this allows a bit of heat to ventilate out, so don't worry the fact it doesn't look exact. But hey, if you like what you see, great. When you try doing something on a budget with very little money, yeah, you got to attempt to get something that you can achieve. In other words, live within your means. There's the drop bear signs, as I was showing you earlier. Caution, drop bears. Well, that's the view as we look out at the train crossing. First thing you should see is our first drop bear and the train station. As we come through the train crossing you should see the second drop bear. And this here, not only have we got lights on that little bit of fencing, which is again off a council clean-up, but we've also got some baby Christmas trees down here which also have lights in them. Now for those who don't understand the joke, I'll try to explain it to you. And I'll just come around here to give you an idea. So I'll zoom in here on our drop bear. The joke, for anyone around the world who doesn't understand it, drop bears are an Australia only thing. Now they're a vicious version of the koala bear. Now They come out more so at night because koalas are nocturnal and you don't upset them. Now, if you want to know if there's a drop bear in any tree here in Australia, you go underneath a big bushy tree, and as you do so you look up into that tree, for example this one here, and you get right underneath one of the branches. Now if you want to know if there's a drop bear in the tree, you spit as hard as you can into that tree. Now if it spits back at you, you know there's one up there. Think about it. Okay, looking back at where we've just been, the tail end view of our tunnel. So we've just had a walk through here. We've just had a look all this part of it. And yeah, we've got Nomeo and Nomiette. So yeah, two gnomes they're given to us. Plus we've got the candy canes as part of our Christmas feature. The tunnel itself isn't a great deal. Steel framework, giving the square frame. A couple of bits of angled steel to give the diagonal bracing, and the sheet of roof metal or roofing iron, whatever, is what forms our tunnel. If we look up a bit higher, this is next door neighbour's palm tree, and we light this. Well, this year we're lighting this tunnel of the tree off this little light here on top of the tunnel. Okay folks, there you go again. I did say I'd come back a bit later on this evening. I've just missed out on the lights coming on by the time I got the camera switched on. So unfortunately didn't get to see them in the coming on position. That's our fence line to our neighbour on one side. You can see where the mailbox is, which is about here. There's my carriage that everyone rides on. And there's Bumblebee at the front, nicely lit up. I'm showing you earlier in this particular video how I had two battery boxes. So there's two on Bumblebee itself and there's three on the passenger carriage. One set is refusing to come on at the moment. However, this is the view from out the front of our house. And these are just the powered sets, with some of the battery and solar power sets still being switched on at the moment. And it's just on 7:30 in the evening. And what you may or may not be able to see, the lights down the side of the house, that is also on the same set that's powering the rest of the backyard. From a different position, looking up the tree that I was just stood under, and basically you can now see, as you look back across the front yard for the second time, different position. The camera doesn't really do it justice, however, this will give you some idea. If we move things around, looking down the side of the house where the train tunnel is, this way you can sort of get an idea where we rode through earlier today. I was telling you about all those lights that come on. Let's have a squizzy down the side. There are 6 sets up here that are not necessarily discernible. 2 sets along the fence line. You see the front one flashing as opposed to the rear one. 4 sets on the shade cloth itself at this end, plus all the extras. So we'll just pick this up and go for another bit of a wander. You can see the white LED lighting all through here and through here. You have the coloured LED lighting and projected lighting. So this is some things that some people don't see. Now, the best way to see all this is to actually come here for a train ride, and you'll get to see more. As we walk down the side of the house, there's a side gate open, so at least with that, it's a mirror or mirrage, whatever, of lights. We've got satellites up here, just go across. Now the Angel set, the batteries are not necessarily the best at the moment, but this is the Angel that we could see earlier on, that aluminium framing. It's not on the correct setting, but I will have to change those batteries. As we look further down the line, there are a few sets of lights we don't have up at the moment, but I will get them out in due course. It's a Merry Christmas banner. And they're sitting on top of my other rail car. This is the back end of the sets on the shade cloth. As we proceed further down, yes, the camera's having a hard time trying to autofocus, and too much stuff around to get into manual focus. So yeah, this is some of what you get to see. Unfortunately, the camera does not want to focus, so my apologies on that. Just bear with me now if I get this camera to focus. Okay, I just had to try and get some way of getting this camera to focus. So yes, as we look here at the train tunnel where we walked through earlier, you can see there is basically a sea of lights. Now, in the process of all this, as we travel on the train, which we will do in just a moment, this is the approach to the tunnel. On the left we've got Santa. Unfortunately, these Christmas lights, they're changing the batteries on them. It must be still a fault with the switch, which I'll hope to get fixed as soon as I possibly can. There's the LED solar powered sets. There's a phase at the moment. These are 3 powered sets, and up here all the other powered sets. There's our disco ball, and hopefully it'll actually give off the right effect soon. And as we walk on through, this is a view from inside the tunnel, and if I lower this right the way down, you get some idea as to what you get to see. What you couldn't see earlier are the projected lighting, which are those stars on the fence. And as we come on around, that's the 3 set of stars. So the LED set here at the front, 3 set of stars, which is that set, and that other set, plus the 2 reindeers you saw earlier. There they are down here. The area where the Christmas lights are around the signage are here. It's a bit easier to see the lights we couldn't see earlier today. I'll have to change the setting to a twinkle mode rather than its random mode. So we'll probably get onto that in just a moment. As we come out of the tunnel, what I haven't got up at the moment are the drop bear signs, which we'll get them out in just a moment. There's our pop-up bear, folks. Now we didn't have this out here early in the day because being out in the sunlight is one thing, and the second side of things is just something we only bring out at night. But yes, it does pop up and then drops back down again. So 2 drop bears, 1 pop-up bear. So that's our pop-up bear, folks. Just hang around a bit for him to pop back up, hopefully. No, he's going to keep dropping down. Never mind, he'll pop back up again any moment. There's the train station lit up. Oh look, here he comes, he's popping up. So he's our friendly greeter. There's our drop bear by night. And on top of that, there's Santa at the station, being a flasher. And there's our other drop bear. Those who are paying attention to the joke I was telling you earlier, about being an Australian legend, hopefully you may remember that. So this is the end of the line, and the railway signal at the end of the platform you can see is on red. See if I can zoom in for you on that one. It's a bit hard to see in low light, but the camera does not want to focus for us. What you couldn't see earlier on today, or certainly not clearly, are all these lights. But they're the ones I was pointing out to you right at the beginning of this video. So I hope you like what you are seeing. Okay, there's no light out there, that's better. Beautiful West Australian afternoon. And a Christmas star which is up in the night sky. So looking back on things, we're going to walk backwards, well not backwards, facing the other direction, back to the mailbox. Then we shall go for a train ride. I'll just briefly stop here for a moment. So this is the view at the back end of the tunnel, so you can get an idea of things. You see the 3 projected lights, the LED lights, the reindeers and everything else. What won't be easy to see, and I'll see if I can zoom in on this for you. That's our other light on top of the tunnel. You can just make it the 3 dots, which is there, and that is shining light right up there to the top of the palm tree. Not easy to see, I know, but later on it'll be more obvious as the night sky gets darker. I'm not worried about the palm tree because it's leaning towards the neighbour's house. It's his property, his problem. The easterly winds keep blowing in that direction, so he says, oh well, house is insured, so he's not too phased himself. Okay, let's bring this down a little. Up, there we go. Walk through. And I'm about to come back through, so we're going to head back to where the train is. And for those of you who cannot travel from your place to our place, this is what you're missing out on. We try to outdo ourselves each year, we try to set a new standard, raise the bar, whatever you want. So with this, hopefully one day somebody out there watching my videos will actually get to come down and see what's happening. Oh look, I've got some people wanting to go for a train ride already. Now Bumblebee does have a headlight. I'm not using it tonight. So yes, as we come on out, you'll get to see hopefully the overall effect. And I'm just coming back towards our driveway, looking back on where we are. From me and my family to you and your families, I wish everyone a very Merry Christmas for 2021 and Happy New Year for 2022. Okay folks, as promised I'd do a train ride. So as we look across the front of the house, looking ahead of ourselves, you get to see how things look. And just look up into here, yep. So let's go for our train ride. What you can't see at the moment is the engine signal switched off at the moment. Inside the house. Into the tunnel. Pop-up bay, 2 drop bays, and the station. There you have it folks, it's Christmas for 2021 at my place.